All right, hello everybody. Welcome to a backtest video. We're going to use the top-down approach. We're going to use bias, context, and then find a setup within the day. I'll do 1 week, find a week that I'm going to choose. This is not pre-planned anything. I'm going to pick a random week. And I'm just going to go with the analysis. Take some wins, maybe take some losses, see if models show up in the week, see what there is to take, and break down what I'm looking for and why. So let's go. Where do we go here? Start the week here. Okay, let's start the week here. This is the Monday. All right. So what are we seeing here on the 4 hour? Heading into the session, I see price formed this range, swept this range low, took out liquidity, respected this imbalance, shot up, expanded to the upside. Bullish imbalance here respected. Bullish imbalance here is being respected as of right now. We took these highs. Bearish imbalance is here. So you can make a case potentially for the downside, but I would have to see price begin to make certain convicted moves for me to want to see price move to the downside. Right now, the delivery is bullish so far, unless we see things that are changing. But what I'm going to note here right now is we're in a 4 hour bullish imbalance right here. So we'll mark that down. Stated delivery is bullish. Clearly, bullish imbalances have been respected time and time again. We have a 4 hour bearish imbalance forming here. So we have two opposing imbalances on the 4 hour forming. So I go to the 1 hour and I want to see some extra conviction, extra confirmations to find what I'm looking for. Okay, what do I see immediately? 1 hour bullish imbalance right here formed. 1 hour bullish imbalance right here formed. Both have been respected. Bearish imbalance disrespected here. Bearish imbalance disrespected there. And we have a 1 hour bearish imbalance here as well. And then we have a 1 hour bearish imbalance there as well. So stated delivery is bullish. I want to see how price reacts to these gaps right here. Price can come disrespect this gap, but then we still have this one here. Come take this low, and we could expect price to make a move to the downside. 1 hour bearish gap forms here. Right here, very minor gap. And then we have this high right here. So for me, if we disrespect this 1 hour gap, then we could look towards this low here, this low here. If we respect it and start to head up, we have even this high here that can pose interest right here. So these are the potential draws on price. Why? Because the state of delivery is bullish. We haven't seen anything definite to the downside to make us feel a certain type of way about lower prices. So we're heading into the same session. I want to see if price does sweep a low, rebalance to a 50-minute bullish imbalance, something like that, so we can take a move to the upside. Market open takes this high, bearish imbalance right here. I want to see how price reacts to that. Closes above it. So then at this point, I would look here and say, okay, on the 1 minute, price closed above this 50-minute bullish bearish imbalance, disrespected it. I would look for a move to the upside here. This level, 20,077, and then 20,098. Those are my levels of interest. Do I have any definite move to take right now? No, not really. It's not really delivering too well. Chopping around here, then start to move a little bit higher. There's nothing definite that I would take. Now the draws are correct. As you can see, we got it correct here, but that in itself, it's talking about price delivery is not the greatest. So we take this buy side liquidity right here. Now I'm going to monitor what we do right here. If we do show some sort of move to the downside, again, like I said, it's against the bias. We do have lots of lows here that price can come take out. So it is a bit of a riskier trade. One I would perhaps entertain, but I would size down if I do because it goes against the bias. So sell side right there. Internal liquidity. If we tap this internal liquidity, then I probably wouldn't have any interest in taking a trade. Again, very big move to that internal liquidity. Has it tapped it? Yep. So internal liquidity tapped. Didn't get the setup. So, this is not a setup I would take right here. This gap here, I would not go short here. Internal liquidity tapped. Don't love how price is delivering. It may work out. I just don't love it. So I wouldn't take it. And you see it's chopping around. And so we would be wise not to take it. As you can see, that's why I did not take it. I didn't like how price was delivering. Conditions weren't great. Draws to the upside were tapped. Really no reason to look for lower prices. All right, so that session, no trade for me. Draws were correct, and that's about all I had interest in. So what we're going to do is now we're going to go to the next day and see if price has anything there for me. So Monday, no trade. It's going to happen. It is what it is. All right, let's see now. All right, now you're starting to see price, this 4-hour bullish, bearish imbalance being respected, 4-hour bullish imbalance being disrespected. We do have a 4-hour bullish fair value gap right here. We do have a significant low here. I want to go to the 1 hour, see if there's anything that would support the case here for lower prices, or if I see bullish confirmations, higher prices. As we're heading into that AM session, 1, 2, 3. All right. Another 1 hour bullish imbalance right here. Sweep this low. I'm looking to see price if it wants to reverse from this point, or if price wants to come to this low next and then potentially reverse. But yeah, price is starting to deliver to the downside here. So I'm going to wait and see. Do we disrespect this gap? I'm going to go to the 15-minute. I'm still not exactly bearish just yet. I'm kind of in between now. It's not too clear for me, so I would much rather wait it out and see if there's any confirmation, let's say to the upside or downside, what's being respected or disrespected. So we head into this session. All right, we take this low, sweep of this low. Now I'm being very cautious here. Why? We have this significant low here that I want to see if price wants to tap into. I'm just marking out levels. If it wants to tap into it, we would wait and look for a potential reversal from that point, because I still think price has room to the upside. Look at these highs all here on the 15-minute. But if price reverses from this point, we can look for a setup potentially not optimal, because you're not getting that significant low, but it's still one that you can take for sure. It's still a good setup if you get a clean reversal to the upside and lots of highs above. So I can already see a potential breaker forming, see if that does form, and we got it. So what I do want to say is right here, we won't get that clean limit entry that I want. Here we go. So there's the breaker. I would enter somewhere here, right here, stop at this low, target that high. Entry forms, I think there is room to the upside. Look at those highs, lots of liquidity to the upside. Again, you could take partials here. I'm going to wait for that imbalance and then this buy side liquidity. So we would likely have entered right here. Now that's a 2.5 to 1. Because we're going to market order it, it's likely going to be a 1.6 there. But in reality, it would be a 2.5 to 1. So off that entry, again, not too much in terms of delivery. There we go. Starting to see a bit of a move up. Comes down, and that is a stop out right there. So stop this out for 36.5 points. What I'm going to do is I'm going to track this in terms of the P&L right here at the bottom. And so when it stops me out right here, you see, okay, first trade on the Tuesday stops us out. That is minus 2.5 on that trade. Still fine. Nothing too much. Going to see if price wants to come for this low. Came for this low. Now I'm going to look for another entry potentially to the upside. See if price wants to come for these highs. We still have lots of highs above. It did make a run on stops right here. So that is to be taken into account. We have equal highs right here. I think price can still make a move to the upside. Significant low taken. I would look to see if there's something worth taking at this point. Nothing just yet. Nothing catches my eye. Internal sweep right there, and here we go. That's what I was looking for, and we get it. So this is what I'm looking for, fair value gap right here. And I would likely take a trade in the direction to the upside to those equal highs in that 15-minute bullish or bearish imbalance. So we'll go market order this right here, stop below this low, and target right here to that 15-minute imbalance low, 2 to 1 R. Like I said, if it was a limit order, it would likely be a bit better. But so let's risk that much. And we'll likely scale at the equal highs. We'll scale out just a bit if we get it. Price is beginning to make a move to the upside. Like I said, lots of liquidity to the upside. See, now I'm looking at this gap. I want to see it inverse, gets inverse. Nice signature and price right there. Scaling out at those equal highs. We'll stop to break even on the rest. And we'll see if we do end up getting that high right there. That 50-minute imbalance. We get it. So we could even come to this buy side liquidity. So good move there. 90 points. 1 win, 1 loss there. 2 to 1 R there. Good trade right there. So that is a profitable day. Took a loss. Again, you come back, compose yourself. Look at price. What is it doing? You want to see. You don't want to just go off the rails. See if something's worth taking. Got the sweep. Waited for that internal sweep because I didn't see a clean entry. That fair value gap on the 1 minute. I was going to wait for price to break structure or one more internal sweep before breaking structure and then forming potential change in the state. Breaker, fair value gap, and that's what we got. So clean entry there. So Tuesday, 2 trades there. 1 win, 1 loss. Profitable day there. Just what I was looking for on the higher time frame as well. So you're starting to see price range a bit. Price made a clean move to the downside here. Swept this low, starting to reverse. Again, we're kind of, we're not showing much of a willingness to head higher, not much of a willingness to head lower. So I'm going to look on the 1 hour for additional confirmations right now. The 4 hour is not giving me something certain. So this leg down did show that we could be showing a willingness to head lower. We come back, retrace into this 1 hour. 1 hour holds. I'm going to erase the 4 hour. 1 hour's holding. Big 1 hour bearish imbalance right here. We have this low right here. This low right here. So I'm going to mark these out. These could be points of interest. If price disrespects this 1 hour gap, then I would look to here. If price disrespects this 1 hour bullish gap, then I would look here. Heading lower, not a disrespect just yet. So I look on the 50-minute. Okay, additional confirmations. Do we think price could come here? I'm looking consolidating here. We have this 50-minute gap. I want to see what price does here from this point. Is there an entry, a shot worth taking? We are still in this 1 hour bullish imbalance. So it carries that risk. But like I said, you're starting to see price want to come head lower. Did the damage to these highs here. Jagged price action right here. Smooth lows here. I wouldn't necessarily turn down the possibility of an entry here to the downside if we got something worth taking. Like I said, it's not 9 a.m. yet, or else that would have been likely what I would look for. This is a textbook entry if it's in the session. So we're going to wait here. Like I said, those lows could definitely be tapped. Another 50-minute bearish imbalance forms right here. I'm going to wait for market open, see what we get here. Dig into this gap. We have this high here that is also that 50-minute bearish imbalance that's within it. Buy side liquidity. Like I said, high was taken right here. Swept liquidity heading to the downside. These lows could be at play. I know we're still in this gap. We're holding this gap, sure. But we're also very mixed. Bearish gaps are holding. Bullish gaps are holding. On the 15-minute right now, you're starting to see that move to the downside after taking this low. Not much of a reversal. Clear intentions to head lower. I'm going to look for additional confirmations potentially to the downside if we get it. So on the 1 minute, I'm aware that we have two 50-minute bearish gaps. I can definitely see the possibility of sweeping this high right here. But we have an internal sweep here. If we get the confirmations to the downside, it would be something I would likely entertain. Why? We do have that internal sweep off of a rebalance. So internal range liquidity to external range is definitely a possibility. So right here, if we get the confirmations, if we inverse this gap, perhaps I would look towards taking a shot. There it is. Inverse gap right here. In that macro, I would take a shot at shorts here. Now, I would likely wait for a retest. Internal sweep here again. Around a 2-to-1 R. Like I said, we could target as low as here. That's definitely fine. It's a 2-to-1 R from this market order. But look, if we were to wait for the retest, it would likely be a 3.2 R. So we'll enter here, but just know that it wouldn't be that. That's not realistic as to what it would be. So take a shot there. Scale out half at that low if we get it. So that would be our entry right here. This is where we would enter. Not here, but here. But because I'm doing backtest, I'm going to market order it. So instead of being a 2-to-1 R, it would be a 3-to-1. 3.26 to 1. But this is just what it is. It is what it is. So we're waiting and seeing how price reacts here. So it makes it around these stops. That's fine. Like I said, that was a bit of a premature entry, looking to see if price would make a run to that low. Could get a move to this high. Like I said, I didn't want to rule that out. Internal sweep potentially is still in play. What I'm going to look is on the 50-minute. Do we disrespect it? Yeah, so I have no interest in that gap now. It's only here, sweep, move to that low. That's all I have interest in. If it does it before taking that high, that's what it is. I'll miss out on the move. High taken. 50-minute bearish gap. All right. Do we get a move to the downside in the direction of the draw? We will see. Nothing just yet of interest. I'm going to speed it up slightly. Okay, what I would likely do, we do have this bullish gap, minor gap right here. We do have this sweep. I'm going to look and see if there is an entry short. Right now, nothing. Let me check the 2-minute. 2-minute forms this gap, but that gets left alone. I want to see if price does change the state, show that there is a willingness to head lower. And then I would likely look for a position to the downside. Do we form this gap right here? Yes. Ideally, you would wait for this retest right here. Let's see what this would look like here. Right here, not the greatest of risk to rewards, honestly. 2.4 to 1. Right here, likely would scale out at this internal liquidity. Scale out just a bit. Now, it would be a 2.4 to 1. Now, this is a 1.5. Why? Because that's a market order. But I guess if you want to, for this sake of market purposes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait to see if price would tap into it. If it doesn't and it just heads lower, I'm going to come back and just enter right here. But I would rather just get a more authentic entry for you guys. If it just heads lower here, I'm going to come back and enter right there. So it does. That's exactly what it does. So we'll come right here. Instead of getting that clean 2.45 entry, we're going to enter right here at the 1.5 to 1. It is what it is. Right there. Take profit right here. That's what that is. You could scale here. Now, if it was here, ideally it would be much of an easier scale. It would be more ideal. This is literally nothing when you think about it. But that's where I would likely take profit. So somewhere there. And now the rest I would ride to these lows. So I would likely do one off here at this low. And then see if price even wants to come to this low. And I do one off there. So we'll see what we get here. Nice move to the downside. See if price wants to take it out. I'm going to just slow it down a bit. I didn't realize I did not realize that I had both my orders there. I didn't move it to the downside. Anyway, so I'd be out full there, whatever. It is what it is. So there's the profit taken at that low. What I want to look to see is if price would have gone to that draw. So we'll speed it up here. So that low taken would have likely gone stop to break even on the last position and wait to see if price would go to that low or break even on the last contract. Chopping around quite a bit here. Let's go on the 5 minute, just speed it up. What do we get? Did we get that low? No, so I'd be stopped at break even on that last con. We would have taken profits at there as well. So very decent move. Again, one win, one loss today. One premature entry that I was willing to risk a bit on. That's what it is. If you're willing to take a shot at it and you get the confirmations, you get the setup, take it. Just size accordingly. That's all. And so I did that. Then I got the entry that I really wanted, that I really liked, and that's it. That's all. And we took it. So price is starting to make moves to the downside now. We're observing this. 18, 22. All right. So heading into the next day here. Coming to these highs now. Back up at these highs. So it's Thursday here. Took this high, 4 hour as well. 4 hour bearish imbalance right here. We're within it. Price is clearly ranging right here. So we caught even a pretty odd week to trade. But it's a good way. It's a good example to show you guys. Like we're in a choppy week and showing how I navigate it. It's not ideal in terms of price delivery, but it's good to showcase how a trader would navigate this. So heading into that AM session. All right. What do we get? Significant high taken, 4 hour bearish imbalance, tapped into, being respected still. On the 1 hour, what do we do? Inverse this bearish gap, this bullish gap right here. 1 hour bullish gap inversed. Low right here that price can tap into. I'm going to remove this level. Why? Because it got swept. So 1 hour bearish bullish gap inversed. We have potential objectives to the downside. We could tap into this high, but I would look for additional confirmations on the 15 minute. Ideally, what we would get here, what we're seeing here, is a manipulation to the upside and then a move down here, down to this low. That's ideally what I would like to see. We're clearly digging into a premium. Clearly, price disrespected this 1 hour bullish imbalance, 4 hour bearish imbalance, significant sweep of liquidity. 15 minute bullish imbalance disrespected, bullish imbalance disrespected, bearish imbalance respected, this bearish imbalance respected. So you're starting to see signatures in price that could point towards the downside, but I'd like to see manipulation here. If we get this objective, it is what it is. Now we could still potentially head lower, but that's just what it is. So objective taken at 9:30 market open. What I'm going to look for here is to see if there's any more objectives. Unfilled gaps all the way here. Several unfilled gaps. On the 15 minute, same thing. We do have this low that we could potentially ride towards next. Now 9:30 market open. Have we tapped into it? No, not yet. So that's fine. I'd like to see maybe us rebalance to this gap and then move lower. See if that does happen. Or if we just head to the objective. So draws taken. No sweep of liquidity. No 15 minute rebalance. What would likely occur is I wouldn't catch a move just yet. There wouldn't be a move for me to take. That's it. That's all. Now I can look here and say, okay, we have this bullish imbalance on the 15 minute taken. Are there objectives to the upside that I truly want to see? Not really. I'm not loving it. I mean, look, we do have highs here on the 1 minute that price can gravitate towards. But in my eyes, it's not ideal. It's not ideal on the higher time frame. So based off of this alone, what would the entry be if I were to take a trade? Well, it would likely be this fair value gap right here. But I wouldn't even take this. So I'm just showing you something. I want it to be clear. I would not take this trade. First of all, it didn't even get retested, but the only objectives I have interest in are these highs here. But even at that, I wouldn't take this trade. And so you're seeing why I wouldn't take it. Prices hasn't really made much of a move just yet, but we're consolidating. No clear objective. Make one more sweep on these lows. Again, like I said, the only move I would be interested in is to these highs, but even at that, I don't love it, so I wouldn't take a move here. Again, as you can see, my thesis is correct. Chop around, would have got stopped had we taken an entry. No clear objectives to the upside for me, so likely no trade on this day. And so that means 2 trading days, 2 non-trading days, 4 trades taken, 2 wins, 2 losses. Still a tidy profit for the week so far. So heading into the Friday. All right. Sweep of this high on the 4-hour. 4-hour bearish and bounce is still being respected. We don't, like I said, very choppy week here. So delivery and price is not optimal. But this is, like I said, a perfect example for you guys to see. You want to see someone else navigate these markets. So it's better because if you can navigate these markets, know when to be offense versus defense, know when to trade, not to trade, manage emotions, manage risk properly. Well, when price is delivering even better, properly, when price is delivering smoothly, you're going to kill it. You're going to kill the markets. So, again, this is a perfect week to showcase. I know it's not ideal in terms of movements, price delivery, but it's still good to look at. So, heading into that AM session, bearish and bounce here, not yet disrespected. Bullish and bounce here. Did it get disrespected? It did. It did. This bullish and bounce got disrespected. Okay. Like I said, price has done damage to the upside. I think there is objectives to the downside. I think price can show moves to the downside. Did we have news here potentially? Well, we'll mark it out here. I don't know if it's a data low, but we'll just mark it out here as that. Data low, data high. I think if I had to point to a draw, these lows here. Price has done the damage. 4-hour bearish and bounce has been respected. 1-hour bullish and bounce here disrespected. This bearish and bounce not yet disrespected. And price is consolidating. Range high taken. So we could see a bit of a rejection to the downside. So I would look to this data low. Take this high. Again, we could reverse off this point, so it's still a valid area where price can reverse off of. 15-minute bearish and bounce here. Right there that we've tapped into. So I'm going to monitor here. If this is a area where we can go short, it's not the most ideal necessarily because data high is not tapped, so it runs the risk of that. But I do think there is room to the downside if you would like to look for this. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to remove this right here, just for the purpose of being organized. So, like I said, data high, data low here marked out. Significant high taken, 4-hour bearish and bounce respected, 1-hour bullish and bounce disrespected, consolidating range high taken, 1-hour bearish and bounce is being respected. Okay, the moves to the downside are definitely doable. Clear lows below. Internal sweep. Data low is definitely a possibility. So we'll look to see if we inverse this gap right here. Right here for value gap right there formed. Not yet. So that's being respected right now. Again, chopping around, nothing too much. See if we form this gap right here. We do. All right, for value gap right here. That's what I would likely look to enter off of. Again, it's why is it risky? Not much of a manipulation. Data high is above. Heading into market open, yeah, we run this risk. It's gonna size down for it, but I think data low is definitely an attainable target based on what I'm seeing. So this is a large trade. If we wait for that limit order, it's a 5.6 to 1. We're gonna market order this at a 4 to 1 almost. Let's just see what the risk comes out to this high. I told you I'm sizing down for this one. That's fine. Again, take profit at this data low, and we will scale out a bit at right around here. This low right here, this internal liquidity, we will scale out a bit at if we get it. So let's see what we get. Like I said, the risk is the market open manipulation to the upside. That's why I'm not going to size incredibly. And data high not yet taken. But the higher time frame confirmations, the higher time frame price delivery, price signatures, all show that we can likely head towards the downside rather than the upside. So like I said, there is that risk that I'm talking about. So that's that market open manipulation. I'm still looking to the downside. I think the downside is still definitely attainable. So what I'm looking at here is, hold on. This is what I would do. All right. On the 2 minute, what do we have? Huge manipulation. Wick does the damage. Bodies tell the story. This inverse gap is still respected. This inverted fair value gap, respected. Bullet, bearish and bounce right here, respected. Wick did the damage. Bodies are telling the story. We're respecting the PD arrays. The wicks are just doing the damage to the upside. What am I going to do? I would enter once more. Take another shot at it. Size down again. It is what it is. Accept the risk for what it is. Place a stop at this high. If we have the direction correct, if we have the timing correct, and our levels are correct, price should not want to come back to this high. It did its damage. Internal sweep. 50-minute rebalance. Higher time frame is bearish-ish because we are consolidating on the week, but the signatures and price on the higher time frame indicate that we would likely head lower than higher. It's not completely given. We have data low here. The only objective or opposing factors is the data high is not taken yet. But this is a risk that if you're willing to take, by all means, you can take it. And so I'm willing to take this risk here. I don't know where my take profit is. Oh, I already put it. All right, we'll scale half at that internal liquidity if we get it. If we get stopped out there, unfortunate. So again, so that just means that the timing is not necessarily correct. So that's 2 trades. I would only be open to 1 more if I get it worth taking. If I get something worth taking. Internal sweep. So I'm going to look to see if we do get maybe 1 more entry to the downside. And to me, I found it. This is the last trade I would actually be willing to take here. I do think the objectives to the downside are much more attainable. It would be a 6-to-1 R. Now, given the market order, it's going to be a 3-to-1. Significantly different, I know, but that's what it is. Target that data low. We're going to take half out at that internal liquidity, see if we get it here. So we'll see now if we do come to that internal liquidity. Like I said, I think the objectives to the downside are attainable. So it's a risk I'm willing to take. That's all. Chopping around, not the cleanest delivering price. It is delivering pretty poorly here, but like I said, I still think this data low can be tapped. And I like the objectives, plus what the higher time frame was telling me. Now, the delivery itself is brutal. Right, so it is what it is. But yeah, that's just a risk you have to be willing to take. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to ride this to either data low, or we'll see. We'll see how we manage this trade here. We're going to just let things go. I want to see how price reacts to this internal liquidity. I like what I'm seeing there. And we get it. So data low does get tapped. Yeah, so decent week. Like I said, what is that on the week? So I took 2 losses, 1 win this day. I don't know what that results to. Does that 7 trades, 3 wins, 4 losses? Or is that 6 trades, 3 wins, 3 losses? Or is it 8 trades, 4 wins, 4 losses? I'm not exactly sure. But this is why risk management 100% matters. This is why not going on tilt, managing your trades properly do matter. We got signatures and price that we liked. We took shots on it. Timing was off today. We took 2 losses, 1 win. But as you can see, that 1 win completely took back those losses and some. So that's why risk management does matter. And this is a market order, right? So if we waited for the retest, it would have been right here, 6-1, even better than what the P&L shows. So it's just looking at what the higher time frame is telling you, thinking what price can likely do, and then risking accordingly. If you see your model or a setup form that is optimal, you'll take it. Like I said, I did take some riskier trades today to show you guys. Like I said, horrible conditions, chopping around. I took some riskier trades just to show what did I expect here. 930, I said it. Why is this a riskier trade? Because 930, often you can get that manipulation, and we did get that manipulation. Again, manipulated to the upside, came lower, retraced, and then shot all the way to that data low. So direction absolutely correct. That's why I sized lower for this one, got stopped out, and then started to take increased size on the positions that I liked. So just showing you guys how to trade a choppy week with choppy price action, not delivering the greatest. You can still navigate it, as you can see, but you run the risk of getting stopped out more times than you would like, and that's just what it is. And so if you find a setup worth taking, which I did, I took one, stopped out, sized lower. So that's why I was opening myself up to additional trades. Had I sized too much and not been aware of a potential manipulation to the upside, not been aware of the data high that hadn't been tapped, even though it didn't get tapped yet, not being aware of that, well, then what would happen is you would size up here for this trade, get stopped out, and then now you are in too much drawdown than you're willing to accept, and then now this move you don't catch. But knowing that we can get a 930 manipulation, this is a not optimal trade. Great confirmations, inverse gap, cleared objectives to the downside. But I'm aware that we didn't get much of a manipulation, and that 930 manipulation market open can come. So I sized down, took a loss, but because you risked properly, because you sized down, because you sized according to what you're willing to accept and opening yourself up to multiple trades, when I took this loss, I was open to another trade. And so that led to me catching this move here. This 120 point, had it been a limit order, here 108 points to that data low based on what I'm seeing. So sizing, risk management 100% matters. If you don't have risk management, this P&L is not what it is. And this P&L would be much greater if we did our limit orders to the entry right there. It would probably be around 20K. So that's just the basis for this week. Navigating the markets, showing you why following your model matters. Following all the confirmations, sizing accordingly, risk management, and keeping yourself together throughout the losses. Psychology. Encompassed it all in this video to show you how you can navigate some of the nice weeks and some of the more brutal weeks like this one. So with that being said, I wish you all good luck. Hope you got some value out of this one. Showed you a brutal week in terms of price delivery, and yet I was able to navigate it despite the win rate not being optimal either. But that's why risk management plays a factor. So I wish you all good luck, and take care, everybody.